problem. We're going to learn how to describe how...
Welcome to the quality improvement process. Thousands of shipyard employees are receiving this training. Everybody at the shipyard, as a matter of fact. Why are we undertaking this massive project? The answer to that question lies out on Pier Charlie and in Dry Dock 1. Two ships, the Stonewall Jackson and the George Bancroft. The Jackson's barely on schedule, running up rework and deficiencies. The Bancroft's ahead of schedule, low in rework, has few deficiencies. What happened to the Jackson? It's a quality problem, a management problem you can help solve. If we don't do something about quality, we'll lose business to other shipyards. Naval shipyards can win the bidding competition. So far, naval shipyards have won all of the SSBNs, at least 5 of them. We here in Charleston have won 3 of those. And we've been very successful with SSN SRAs, but the competition's much heavier in surface ships. More classes will be added to the competition list in the coming years. CGs and more DDGs will be added in 1988. We can continue winning only as long as we provide quality work, and we must continue winning. We must reduce rework. We've got to learn concepts and techniques of improvement. The improvement will bring with it lower costs and schedule adherence, and this will bring us more work. This change won't come overnight. To help bring it about, we started to establish a system that will touch everyone in the shipyard, whether they're installing a valve, typing a letter, or planning an SRA. The system's called the Quality Improvement Process, or Q.I.P. The shipyard has already invested a great deal of time and money in Q.I.P. training for supervisors. The foremen, the first-line supervisors, the general foreman, the superintendents, the department heads, and the group superintendents have all been trained. Why has management been trained first? The reason's simple. Most quality problems originate with management in the way managers organize and supervise your work. You want to do a good job, but roadblocks like missing references, inadequate training, or bad scheduling get in your way. With the help of Q.I.P., management's learning to break the roadblocks, learning to make it easier for you to do your job. We need not only management commitment, but total shipyard commitment to the quality improvement process. Today, you're beginning the first of 4 one-hour sessions. Each session starts with a segment of this videotape, and your instructor will follow up by leading discussions aimed at applying the quality concepts to job situations. This isn't a one-shot, do-good program. The end of your formal training here is the beginning of a continuous process. Let's choose now to make a permanent change. Let's work with our minds, our hearts, and our hands to keep this shipyard second to none.
Ever feel hassled by problems? You know the kids won't get up for school, the dog runs away, then the car won't start, and then the day goes downhill from there. Well, that's what this first session is all about. Why things go wrong and how you can start to come to grips with problems at home and at work.
Okay, gents, your badges.
Ooh.
Oh, Brian.
I guess I forgot it again.
Yeah, I guess you forgot your brain too, huh?
Why don't you take care of things when you have to do it? Every time we turn around, you're doing something.
Brian, don't walk. Why don't you try running? Oh, good
It's an
job,
accident
Brian.
looking for a place to happen. Look at him.
Hurry up, Brian.
Only 12 minutes.
You would forget your head if it wasn't connected.
Yeah, maybe I should disconnect it. Hey.
Go easy on him, Tom. You might injure him, and we'll never finish our job on time.
Yeah, okay, sure. Wouldn't want to hurt this valuable worker.
Hassle seems to follow some people around. That wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't infectious, dragging others down, making the whole van pool late, for example. Well, let's see if things take a turn for the better. When Mel gets aboard ship to start a job, he's scheduled to wire a cableway.
How long are you guys going to be in here?
We'll be here the rest of the week.
I got to work on that cableway.
Come on in, if you can find the space.
No way. 3 of us can't work in here. I better check in with my boss. It looks like the situation is normal. All screwed up.
Tom! Tom!
Hey, Mel, how you doing?
Where's Helen?
She's in a planning conference all day.
Just great. So what am I going to do?
Another roadblock, another hassle. Mel is on standby time, running up the price of nonconformance. Whose fault? We'll try to find out the root causes later in the program. For now, let's see what kind of day Carl is having.
Well, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is I'm giving you this easy 4-hour pump lining job. Okay. The bad news is the paper chase. There's job order, test requirements, technical repair standards, drawings.
I have to read all these requirements, right?
Hey, you not only have to read them, you gotta know them. But that ain't all. You gotta know where to find all the references.
Where do I find all those things?
Everywhere. 13 places for the drawings, for starters.
All right, I'm gone.
Consider this part of your education, son. Lesson 1, the paper chase.
Case. I guess that's why they call Carl's boss Tasmanian Turner. Let's see if we can piece all of this together. There's Brian forgetting his badge. Mel unable to get to his job because of someone else's scheduling mistake. And Carl forced on a seemingly endless search for references. What is the thread that runs through all of this? It is the need to figure out what kind of problem you face so that you can do something about it. Bryant must realize he is being hassled by his own fumbling before he can begin to solve his problems. Mel, though he fulfilled requirements, may have been able to negotiate a compromise with the machinists if he pressed just a little harder. And Turner was vague about how Carl could obtain the requirements for his job. By providing more specifics, a clear idea about the job requirements, Turner might have spared Carl a wild goose chase. Remember, make sure you know the requirements for a job and make sure you know how to do it. Get everything straight up front. In the last session, we saw how hassles can be contagious. First, bowling over one person, then another, and pretty soon the entire team. What causes these problems? Well, lack of a clear set of standards can bring us all down. In this session, we'll see 4 principles that will help us understand the quality improvement process. First, we'll see what quality really means. Next, we'll find ways to prevent problems. Third, we'll look at the concept of 0 defects and how to achieve that goal. And fourth, we'll see how to measure performance and the price of nonconformance. What is quality? Quality is simply adhering to requirements. The baker could tell you it's a piece of cake, following a recipe to the letter. To prepare this cake, the baker adhered to a requirement called a recipe. A spoon of this, a cup of that, nothing more, nothing less. Too little baking powder, and the cake won't rise. But an extra tablespoon of baking powder ruins the taste. Now, let's see what happens in the shop when we put in a little something extra.
This is old. This is old.
Hey, Tom, what are you doing?
I can't use these adhesives. They've been on the shelf longer than 5 years.
When's the last time you checked the mil spec?
When I learned this job.
That was years ago. The mil spec's been changed since then. It calls for a shelf life of 10 years, not 5.
Well, I don't have the updated mil spec.
I'll make sure you get one by the end of the day.
I don't feel good about using these old adhesives. Look, my family's worked at the shipyard for 3 generations. I refuse to do anything less than quality work.
Quality work is conforming to a precise set of standards. No more, no less.
But what's wrong with doing more than the requirement calls for?
It's counterproductive. You're wasting adhesives, time, and money, and that reduces our productivity. We're competing with 2 private shipyards right now for our next overhaul job.
Okay, ease up, I understand.
Tom's definitely an A-type. Guess it's better to have too much pride than too little. But what about poor Carl? He can't even find all the requirements he needs. The second quality absolute is preventing problems. Let's see how Helen and Mel try to cope with his difficulty and getting to his workspace aboard ship.
I tried to contact you all day. There are 2 machinists in my space. Looks like you need to work something out with their boss.
That's a problem I should have worked out during the scheduling conference. Did you try to work around their schedule?
Well, I guess I could have asked some questions before giving up so easily.
Well, what about your second job?
Sit down all day. Chemical spill.
Well, there must be something that we can do. Why don't you try to talk it over with them, and if that doesn't work, check back with me. But then I'll have other work for you. We'll work it out.
All right.
Clearly, Helen and the machinist foreman failed to prevent a scheduling problem. Is there anything Mel could have done? We'll see later on. Now, let's take a ride home in the van pool to understand the third quality principle, 0 defects.
Oh, come on. It's time to get home. You know,
Take it
enough's
easy,
enough.
will you? What do you always got to make me the goat for?
Because you're always late.
George was hitting on me with some lecture about 0 defects.
He's into that quality improvement process.
Yeah.
Understand all of us will get a dose when they get the boss's train.
Well, we need it.
Why was he giving you the $3 lecture?
Well, one of my check valves didn't pass inspection.
Hey, now that's serious.
Yeah, you bet it is.
Oh, come on, nobody's perfect.
Look, I drive us to work every morning, and Tom drives us home every night. We make a half-dozen stops, dozens of turns, hundreds of driving decisions. We never make a mistake, never make a wrong turn, never had an accident. That's 0 defects.
A big deal. Driving's not that complicated.
Oh, can you name a machine you operate that requires you to use both feet and both hands at the same time?
while you drink a cup of coffee.
And change the radio station.
Right. And the funny thing, we do the job with 0 defects. Why can't we work that way?
You know, you did the job right the second time on rework. Why can't you just do it right the first time?
Great, now she's after me. I'm gonna quit riding the van.
Oh, maybe we'd all get home a little bit earlier.
Let's go. Hit it, Tom.
Fool around, I never see anything like it in my life.
The baker, the candlestick maker. In this case, it's the baker, Tom, and Bryant. They've all seen a facet of the quality concepts. The baker adheres to his requirements to achieve quality. Tom understands now that he's aiming for a precise band of tolerances, no less and no more. And Bryant, well, Bryant is still resisting the idea of 0 defects. That covers 3 of the absolutes. What about the 4th?
So, that wraps up the 4th quality principle. George, what do we mean by measurement?
It's figuring the cost of doing something wrong.
It's the cost of nonconformance.
The cost is expressed in dollars, not just rework.
Good. Guess we can go home now. Don't forget your assignments.
Well, how did you like the classes?
Just great. And know what I like best about them?
What?
These hats.
Well, what about them?
Ever see so many supervisors' hats in one place at one time?
They call that commitment.
George and Helen are getting on the bandwagon. They've just heard the last of the 4 quality principles, 4 special ways of looking at ourselves, 4 ways to deal with competitive demands as individuals and as a shipyard. We make sure the requirements are crystal clear. We determine the causes of failure to meet the requirements so that we can eliminate the cause and the problem and measure to ensure the problem doesn't reoccur, eliminating nonconformance forever. Once you know the 4 principles, an action plan begins to emerge, a subtle change in our thinking that can turn our lives around. In the next session, we'll see 5 steps that help us act on the quality principles. In the last session, we learned about the 4 quality principles. They're like a blueprint, the guidelines for using your tools. And the tools are the 5 problem-solving steps. Identify the problem and state it clearly. Fix it temporarily. Figure out the root cause. Eliminate the root cause forever. And don't forget, measure, so you can be sure your corrective action is the final solution. Now, let's look in on some typical shipyard situations to see how the process works. Mel is still trying to work out a way he can get access to his workspace. Mel has already identified a scheduling problem. Now he's trying to temporarily fix the situation, even though neither he nor the 2 machinists set the schedule.
Look, I gotta get in here. The whole job will be late.
Sorry.
Come on, let's help the kid. I'll call 64.
Suit yourself.
Hey, Lloyd, this is Jim. We need a little help down here.
The machinists appear to be on their way to at least developing a temporary fix to help Mel, but figuring out the root cause and fixing it permanently are back in Helen's court, a management task, like most quality problems. Of course, Helen hasn't been neglecting her duty.
Well, Tasmanian Turner, since when did you get to be a foreman around here?
Since yesterday. Boss is in the hospital, turned over all the power to his best man.
Well, we seem to have a little scheduling conflict here.
Conflict? Hey, there's no conflict. My men are a couple of early birds who got the worm, that's all.
Well, so tomorrow, my men will be in the space 5 minutes before the whistle.
World War III! Helen's efforts to work out the schedule and fix it permanently were frustrated by an organization rivalry. Someone looking at the little picture and not reaching for quality. Turner was using scheduling to hide a personal motive for not cooperating. Let's look at another situation where problem-solving steps are ignored in the name of scheduling.
Okay, now let me see. The boss says the arrow points toward supply.
Wait,
Yeah.
are you sure?
Do I look like the kind of guy that goes around screwing things up?
Do you want me to answer that? It seems to me that the direction of the arrow depends on the direction of the oil flow.
Forget it. We've got a schedule to keep.
Just wait a minute.
What can happen?
Let me show you something. Come on.
Jeez.
On this ship, just one check valve installed the wrong way tied up 5 shops for 3 days.
What?
The oil line fed into the header. The whole system had to be tagged out, shut down, and fixed. Then all the tags had to be removed before anyone could go back to work.
Oh, man.
That was the price of messing up. Come on, let's go back to the ship.
The problem resolution steps are a way of thinking. Bryant fumbled the first step. He failed to understand the requirements. But Tom didn't give up so easily.
Hey, is anybody in there? You have it facing the wrong way.
How do you know?
It's called a plan.
Oh.
Tom identified the problem and he fixed it when he found the plan for the check valve. The next problem resolution steps call for figuring out a permanent solution, implementing it, and then measuring what you did. Often in the work situation, you'll be handing off at this point to your supervisor. Tom should report the problem to his supervisor, George. Now, George, with his limited Q.I.P. training, faces a tough challenge.
Hey, George, you have to do something about Bryant.
Listen, Tom, would it surprise you to know that Bryant wants to do a good job and that he's just beaten down by his inability to cope with a lot of little problems?
I think you're getting soft.
I'll ignore that if you promise to hear me out.
I'm sorry. Sure.
The valve mistake is mostly my fault. I made it difficult instead of easy. First, I didn't give him enough training, and I didn't follow up by walking him through the job. In fact, there was so much noise, I doubt he even heard what I was saying. Then, I made it difficult by leaving the plans in the lock cabinet. Remember, you had to come to me to get the key?
Right, but I did it. I came for the key.
You were motivated, wanted to make a point, maybe. Maybe Bryant made the extra effort the first 3 times he hit the wall. Everyone has a limit.
Yeah, I'd say he has a low threshold.
I'll turn him around. You'll see.
Looks like George planned some action to improve Bryant's training and attitude. He's up to step 3, figuring out the root cause. Next, he'll implement his permanent solution.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah?
Let's sit down in my office at 1 o'clock this afternoon and go over the check valve process thoroughly.
Really? Great. I don't think we ever did that before from start to finish. It's always been little bits and pieces here and there. And yelling. Half the time I couldn't hear because of the sound of the equipment.
So, I'll see you at 1.
Great. All right.
Retraining. Ah, there's music in that solution. Bryant and George figured out the root cause, sloppy OJT, and made a plan to fix the problem permanently. Real training in a place where Bryant can hear the instructions. Now, the 5th step, measuring, will come on the job. The standard will be whether Bryant can do the job with 0 defects. Meanwhile, Helen is still searching for a permanent solution to her scheduling problem. She ran up against a world-class roadblock in Tasmanian Turner. It seems the trauma is so severe, it's giving her nightmares.
Why, Helen, so nice to see you. Let me take this opportunity to apologize for all the rotten things I've done.
Huh?
Let's shake hands and be friends. Come closer.
Are you all right?
Oh, yeah. It's just a crazy dream.
What was it about?
Oh, about work. Oh, it was just about something at work I've just got to take care of.
No.
Maybe Q.I.P. would help.
What?
Nothing.
No.
I'm just talking to myself, that's all.
Mm.
Going back to sleep. Oh.
Yeah?
Hello? Mr. Turner? This is the Q.I.P. office. Oh, well, we see that you're now a foreman.
That's right.
And you're scheduled to start training immediately.
Today?
Yes, today. Well, we'll send a memo confirming this by guard mail.
Okay, I'll be there.
You have a nice day.
Not exactly by the book, but still, it could lead to a temporary solution. A way to get Turner's thinking turned around and working toward finding the root cause and the permanent solution to the scheduling problem. 5 tools. Give them a try. Identify the problem. Fix it temporarily. Figure out the root cause. Fix it for good. And don't forget to measure.
That does it. I can't go any farther.
You look tired. You know, I'm here on a research project. My team is streamlining paperwork for people like you. Looks like you picked up quite a pile of it.
You're just the man I wanted to talk to. I'm burned out. First, I have to read a 2-foot stack of documents. I mean, that takes most of the day. Then I have to chase these references all over the shipyard. That could take weeks at this rate.
Well, let's go over here and talk about it. Let's have a seat. You know, it's management's responsibility to make sure that the worker understands the job. Our objective is to reduce the burden of paperwork on the mechanic. Our goal is to cut the documents to just the minimum. The job order and those documents only that are needed on the job. For instance, here's a work procedure. It gives you all the information you need to do the job.
Yeah, but those changes take time to reach the waterfront. In the meantime, what do I do?
Yell for help from your superior. Don't be afraid to stop if you don't understand.
You don't know my boss.
Who's your boss?
Caswell Turner.
Oh, well, management's changing. There's a new day dawning. Hundreds of bosses, all of management, getting Q.I.P. training. I have the feeling that even the Caswell Turners will begin to see the light. Meanwhile, don't give up. Don't let the hassle grind you down.
Thanks. It really helps to know somebody's doing something. Oh, I still need that reference.
Oh. This help you?
Hey, how did you know?
Well, after you stopped in at Building 10 Library, they called over here, and I volunteered to help out.
I was about to call up your shop when you showed up here.
Thanks.
Commitment. Management commitment to quality. You'll see it in action throughout the shipyard. We're all working for one goal, removing roadblocks so you can conform to requirements. The message is even getting through to Tazewell Turner.
Hey, let me give you a hand with that.
Huh? Oh, yeah, sure.
Just getting back from a Q.I.P. training.
Oh?
Yeah, Carl, you know, I've been thinking I should have been more help to you with these references. Where to go and who to talk to, you know?
You know, it sure could have helped.
Yeah. Sorry.
Especially operating costs.
I came over as soon as I got your message.
Look, this feud between you both has got to stop. I think I have a way to make you see the light. Meet me bright and early in the morning at Pier 5.
You're serious, aren't you?
Want me to pull rank and require your presence?
Since you put it that way, I'll be there.
Good. Nice seeing you, Helen.
See you in the morning.
There's Mel. What job is he doing?
He's installing cableways.
I see. Turner, there goes Carl. What job is he on?
Valves?
Valves? Look again. You both better open your eyes wider. This is a job, too.
The ship?
Exactly. The ship is behind schedule because of our individual jobs. The valves, the cableways, the pumps are all behind schedule. And if we keep on slipping, the next ship might go to the competition. That's one way to measure the price of non-conformance.
Well, what do you want us to do about it?
Well, we have in our grasp a tool that will bring us together behind a clearly defined set of requirements. We have Q.I.P. training. All we have to do is be good disciples and teach it to our people, everyone on the job. A solid core that will wear a single kind of hard hat, one with a Q.I.P. decal.
Sounds good to me.
Well, okay, let's do it. Q.I.P.
Right.
Q.I.P.
Let's do it.
This
All
is
right.
the best idea.
Good guys.
This is before any bathroom breaks. Q.I.P. reveals not a toilet, but we have to keep things down to the low minimum. Now, this is how it's going to be. The whole idea is we want to eliminate non-conformity, right? So we're going to do this Q.I.P. and drawings,
The quality improvement process for everyone. The results can be exciting. A shop that trained all its supervisors and mechanics performed a 3-month job in 1 month. Another eliminated rework on O-rings. But Q.I.P. is about individuals. Problems once floored Bryant. Now he's on top of the situation, automatically using the 5 problem-solving steps as a part of his routine thought process. First, he identifies the problem, which may or may not be obvious to someone who is constantly struggling with unraveling sweaters, untied shoes, and unmade beds. He implements a temporary fix, which is to find out how to interpret the plan. Later, Bryant and his supervisor will work out a system to prevent the problem from happening again. But right now, let's see how he's doing his job.
0 defects, Coach.
Another perfect day.
A way of thinking, a habit of dealing successfully with nagging little problems. It translates easily into preventing the larger problems.
Thanks for the magic, Lloyd. No problem.
Everything going okay?
Just great.
What is going on? Where is Mel? I thought we were going to compromise, share access to this space. You better have a good explanation for this.
Well, I do have
Turner, you haven't changed a bit. Great compromise. Everything for you and nothing for us.
Look up there.
What are you talking about?
Up there.
Temporary solution. You understand.
Thanks, Turner.
We'll all finish on time.
Ship, the shops, supervisors, you. Everybody wins with the quality improvement process. It eliminates hassles, which eliminates rework, which means the shipyard can beat the competition.